Hello and welcome to another episode of 8-Bit Popcorn. I do that. Hello and welcome to another episode of 8-Bit Popcorn, where we subvert all expectations, mostly by not talking about movies. We get them in with promises and movie chat, and then we spend about half the time in random tangents. We get it, we're new, you don't really know if you like us or even if you trust us yet, and this is why we felt that it is essential this episode to get to know us better and get better insights into us as people. And how do we achieve this? With personality tests. So this episode we look at our personalities, and if there's time, Mandalorian Season 2. But before we start this episode, we have a special mention, and it is Zara's 30th birthday tomorrow.
30? Really?
Yeah. You're not
Ryan, don't
30?
lump me in with you.
No,
I'm
no,
not. No.
I got a badge for you.
Oh. What?
No? Yeah.
Save
I would
it for
put
3
it on,
years.
but I don't want to ruin my t-shirt. Okay, right, okay.
You don't look a day over 29, Zara. It's okay.
The 30
So
club.
you're coming,
don't put
so
me
you're
in
coming
there
27. You're coming 27, right? Okay.
27.
My bad. What did we do this week? We sat down and gave ourselves personality tests. The Myers-Briggs personality test. Isn't that right, Joe?
It is.
You kind of decided that this might be very interesting to give listeners an opportunity to actually get to know us a little better as people. Because if you don't like the people, you're not going to watch the content. You're not going to listen to the content. So it's important that you do like us. So I kind of thought maybe this, or Joe, we all kind of worked together and thought that this was probably a good episode to kind of allow people to see what kind of people we really are. Yeah. So Joe decided to forward us this website called 16personalities.com. And essentially, the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator is designed to identify a person's personality type, strengths, and preferences. Today, it is one of the most widely used psychological instruments in the world. It is not a comparison against any norms or people, but to offer further information about your own unique personality. And where's Zara?
Yeah, she disappeared. Where'd you go?
Oh, am I? Sorry, I was reading the description of the 4 letters just so that I knew.
Oh, yeah.
That was fresh in my head.
Oh, she's reading it
So
again.
wait, do I disappear when I'm on another screen?
You
I'd say
must
so,
do,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But it's
dear.
okay. We just know that you're probably looking at porn or something, so.
Yeah.
Y'all know me.
Y'all.
Yes, so there are 16 personality types. You have inspector, crafter, protector, artist, advocate, mediator, architect, thinker, persuader, director, performer, caregiver, champion, giver, debater, and commander. So before we actually get into each other's results, does anybody want to have a go at what they think anybody else in the group is? What their personality type is?
Yeah, well, I was like going through the letters and stuff before we came online, and I have theories as to which ones you might be. You see, there's like 4 categories for the personalities.
Mm.
There's analysts, diplomats, sentinels, and explorers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of going through the letters, just seeing what letter I thought fitted each of you. And the first one was Zara. I suspected you would probably fall into the diplomat category. Wasn't too sure, but the letters I came up with for you, like it was one of 2 sort of possibilities, and it was either INFP or ENFP, and so that's either the mediator or the campaigner personality. And I was sort of, the letter that sort of got me the most was the E or the I. I was like, extroverted or introverted, and I'm like, yeah, you come across as quite extroverted, but I think
I would have thought
quite
extroverted.
introverted.
Yeah,
at times,
very
quite
loud. Mm-hmm.
thinky, and
Too loud.
you maybe get your energy back from spending some chill time alone.
Yeah.
So those were the 2 personality types I came up with for you as a possibility.
I
For
kind
you,
of
Ryan, you were trickier.
Okay.
I went for either ENTJ, which is the commander personality, or ESTJ, the executive. But also there's the entrepreneur personality, which I think could be quite sort of fitting for you, which is ESTP. But those are the 3 ones that I sort of narrowed it down to for you. And I'm curious as to see whether I'm right, but we'll keep guessing for now.
Well, for Zara, I actually had it. You're right that, I mean, you could easily go through the different personality types and pick loads of different traits. For Zara, I did go to the champion, which is extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving. I did see intuitive and perceiving. They pop up quite a lot, even across a lot of the different personality types. But I thought the champion was quite like Zara. Although I kind of felt like I was looking across the director and the artist, and I mean, it was a tough call. Joe, I actually went for the artist with you, but I also nearly felt like I went for the thinker. So the artist is introverted, which is interesting because I know you enjoy like theater and a lot there, but I still feel like unless you know people, you're quite introverted, because I know that's how I am. Unless I kind of really know people, then I don't really open up. But I kind of thought you were the artist, which is introverted, sensing, feeling, and perceiving.
Interesting. I actually agree. I went for artist for Joe, but I actually went for thinker.
Drama queen.
Drama queen. I actually went for thinker for you, Ryan. I thought maybe, yeah, that's so interesting. I was so shocked with mine.
So what was in thinker?
Thinker was.
She doesn't even have it written down.
No, I don't have it written down. It's so bad. I was looking at my notes there. I had literally written your names and then artist and thinker. I hadn't written down the letters. What is thinker? I
have it on my phone here, actually, I think. INTP.
INTP.
Yeah, so I think introverted, intuitive, thinking and perceiving. And the artist is what I had for Joe, which is introverted, sensing, feeling and perceiving. So we're all pretty complimentary, I think, of each other. Like, there's nothing in here that's bad. There's not a personality type that says you're a bastard.
You're a complete shit.
Yeah.
Awful.
But it was interesting because there were 60 questions on this, a lot more than I thought. But I've done these kind of tests before. I did one last year that was maybe about 10 to 20 questions, and I came up with the exact same result as I did with this test. So
that's cool.
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I either haven't changed, but even during the 60 questions and answering them, I kind of thought I am that type of person, and I don't like that, but that wasn't anything that anybody described, but then it's easy for me to sit and like, it's all about perspective, isn't it? Like, somebody's going to look at me and think, oh, maybe he's confident, or he talks a big game, or blah, 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 but you don't know what's going on up in here.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
You can't quantify me.
You can't see me.
Yeah, I think I've done like variations of the same sort of tests like 3 times, and it's come out the same result each time, even though they say that every time you do this it's probably going to come out something different. Mine has been the same. I'm like,
that's cool.
So I'm kind of like you, Ryan. Have I not changed? But yeah, for one of them it was like an extra course I was doing during my MA. It was called like Master Your Leadership, and it was all about mastering your leadership, funny enough, and I like our personalities, and it was like, ooh. And it was the same thing as like, okay, well, maybe this is me.
I love personality tests anyway. Like, what gossip girl are you, or those kind of silly ones.
You're just eating away.
Which member of the Sugar Babes are you?
No, well, I mean,
I'm Keisha.
This is Zara's cake, so I'm eating it for her. I mean, I'm so jealous of Zara.
Brian, I'm jealous.
I'm doing this for you.
Is it chocolate or Madeira?
Chocolate.
Oh, yummy. What's the icing like?
Chocolate. Magical.
Chocolate on chocolate.
It's magical.
Having a slither of Slytherin.
Slytherin.
My house.
So jealous of you, Joe.
Yeah.
Freaking Ravenclaw.
I like Ravenclaw.
I've never done that test. I'll have to do that test myself, actually.
You actually have to do that, Ryan. We need to know what house you're in.
Just
in order to do this podcast with you.
You're a bastard.
I was pretty thrilled, like, to get Slytherin. To be fair, I was, nobody really wants Hufflepuff, but I was relieved not to get Gryffindor.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wants Hufflepuff.
So, will we reveal what we got?
So exciting!
And so that you listening can know us. I'll start off. So you thought I was the artist, or the
artist, or the thinker? Yeah.
I am actually the debater.
The debater.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's ENTP. I don't know. Are we going to go through some of the traits just so that our our listeners get to know us a little bit? Okay. So, an introduction to the debater. This is the first paragraph. So, no one loves the process of mental sparring more than the debater.
You were going to say nobody loves the debater.
Nobody loves the debater more than the debater. Well,
someone that just has to argue with everybody. Sorry, go ahead. Start again. Sorry, I just cut you off.
Yeah, well, just let me finish. No one loves the process of mental sparring more than the debater personality type, as it gives them a chance to exercise their effortlessly quick wit, broad accumulated knowledge base, and capacity for connecting disparate ideas to prove their points. So basically, we just love to. We love to talk. We love to play devil's advocate, even if we don't believe in what we're saying. It's just to get to the bottom of issues. We'll go for strengths and weaknesses. So my strengths are I'm knowledgeable. You should already know that if you've listened to some of our episodes, Jesus. Quick thinkers. Again, you should already know that if you've listened to me. Original. Yeah. There's only one me. Excellent brainstormers. Charismatic. Energetic. Weaknesses. Very argumentative. I actually don't think I'm that argumentative. I don't know.
Would you not say that? I think you are.
Well, okay. I present my arguments logically. Insensitive, intolerant, can find it difficult to focus.
That reminds me of when you told those people off in the cinema.
Oh, yeah.
When they asked you to move and you were
awesome.
reluctant to move.
And also whenever I poured my popcorn and drink over them as well.
That's right.
Yes.
That was a separate occasion.
I wish I'd been there.
So we should probably, at the end of this, actually decide which personality type is the bigger bastard.
Oh,
so far, I think Joe's
I think I'm the front runner so far. And they give you like famous people and characters that your personality type fits onto as well. So some of the ones that I quite liked were Adam Savage, from Mythbusters.
Oh, yes. Cool.
Yeah, he's cool. You got Sarah Silverman, Mark Twain, because I'm a writer. You got Sacha Baron Cohen. You got Tyrion Lannister, Irene Adler from Sherlock, The Joker, and Mark Watney from The Martian. Have you seen The Martian?
Haven't seen it.
It's a cool film.
Yes, but you did at the end of yours. You got your results as in mind, energy, nature, tactics, and identity.
What is it?
You got your results at the end that give you like your statistics on your mind, your energy, your nature, your tactics, and identity?
Yes. Let me see. Yeah. So for the E versus the I, so extrovert versus introverted, I got 51% extroverted and 49% introverted. So that's pretty close. For intuitive versus observant, the N, which I got 85% intuitive and 15% observant.
Typical man.
For the nature, which is thinking versus feeling, I got 67% thinking and 33% feeling. And for tactics, for judging versus prospecting, I got 21% judging and 79% prospecting.
That's good.
And for the identity one, it was assertive versus turbulent. So I got turbulent, which is 56% turbulent and 44% assertive. So
we aren't far apart, to be honest, from my statistics.
That's really interesting.
Ooh. So we're going to find out who is Zara.
Who is Zara? Mine was such a shock. But then at the same time, it wasn't when I read it. I was like, oh, that is secretly me. So I'm the commander.
Oh, okay.
Right? I was like, wait, what? According to surveys, commanders need a job that gives them freedom. They consider themselves ambitious, resist social pressure, and enjoy setting goals for improving themselves. And what was the my percentages were, so I was 68% extroverted. I was 55% intuitive. I was 51% thinking. 74% judging.
Oh, wow.
I am very judgmental.
How judged are we sitting here?
I know.
And 71% assertive.
Nice one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Judgy and
So
bossy.
yeah, I had some.
A real winner.
Oh, right, scary. I had some. So I'm ENTJ. That's my letters. And then some fictional characters. They're all kind of scary. Lex Luthor, Tom Riddle.
Voldemort.
I know, right? Imperator Furiosa from Mad Max.
Okay.
And apparently Leia Organa, Princess
Ooh.
Leia. That was kind of a cool one.
That's a pretty cool one, actually.
And then there were some celebs as well. So Jim Carrey, Harrison Ford, Whoopi Goldberg, Sigourney Weaver, Patrick Stewart, and Matt Damon. So rock and roll.
Those are pretty
So
good
we got Lex Luthor and the Joker so far.
Yeah, we're doing well, guys.
Well, shall I go through with my details then?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, so I actually was the mediator,
Oh,
which I've had
okay.
before. I've had that before. So I very quickly, just through filling out the questionnaire, I kind of knew right away because I was just sitting on the fence of a lot of stuff, and I was like, I don't tend to just make a fucking decision one way or the other. It's like, maybe, what do you think? You know, I hate that. Yeah, I do try to work on that. Which is very interesting. Let me see that I get a synopsis of that. On the outside, mediators may seem very quiet or even shy, but they often have vibrant, passionate inner lives. Because they make up such a small portion of the population, people with this personality type may sometimes feel misunderstood or out of step with the world. Fortunately, their caring nature can help them create and sustain deep relationships with their loved ones, which sounds better than me.
I'm just so caring. I don't want to pick something.
Yeah, I know, right? Don't want to piss anybody off.
I want to please everybody.
I know it's not good, but yeah. So going through like my kind of traits, so my mind. So that's how you interact with the environment. I was 47% extroverted and 53% introverted. My energy, so that's where you direct your mental energy. I was 37% observant and 63% intuitive. My nature is how we make decisions and cope with emotions. I was 42% thinking and 58% feeling. Tactics, so my approach to work planning and decision making, I was 47% judging and 53% prospecting. And identities, and that underpins all other traits, showing how confident we are in our abilities and our decisions. I was 28% assertive and 72% turbulent, which is a...
You're way more turbulent than I thought you might have been.
Secretly turbulent.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the turbulent one, is basically just you make a decision, then you go, oh.
That's not the right thing. But I do that. I mean, I do mull over. I do mull over things I do and don't do, and things I said and said don't. Things I should have said or didn't say, and I mull over all that kind of stuff. Which I am working on alleviating and trying not to give a shit as much. I mean, this podcast is a perfect example of, it took me a year to take it from an idea of what I wanted to do with another friend to get to the point where I just thought, you know what, fuck it. And then just put it out there and just tried to do something different with somebody else. So obviously we have you lovely people here, and we're making an incredible podcast show together. But it took me a year to get to this point because I was too afraid of what other people might think, or even the kind of the content of our conversations and what people would think, because we can be quite sussy at times, so, but I'm glad now that I'm out there and we're doing this. So it's a step in the right direction. But yes, mediators
it can be really hard to be decisive.
Can be.
Yeah.
I just need to be more decisive.
According to my analysis here, my personality type would be like, I've got a really good idea for a podcast. Somebody should do that.
That's what I do. Yeah,
Leave it to somebody else.
Time. Yeah. I have this brilliant idea, and then somebody else, does it. And I'm like, I thought of that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, well, why didn't you fucking do it?
Would be so better if I actually did it.
Yeah. Or you build things up in your head.
Ryan?
My letters. Sorry, did I not give that?
No, you did.
Maybe did. No, you did.
INFP, so it's introverted, intuitive, feeling and perceiving.
Yeah,
I'm just looking up what characters you are from Harry Potter and stuff. No biggie.
But like a girl that I used to work with, she had that same personality type. And
Okay.
apparently INFPs and ENTPs are great friends. So Ryan,
Wow,
we got a
yeah, we're
great
gonna be
future
best
ahead of
buds.
us.
Oh,
That's it.
that's so cute,
We
guys.
may
I'm
have
the
to think about-
insensitive one.
And I'll just sit and appease you. I'll have an idea. You don't want like it, and I'm like, yeah, well, whatever you think.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
And
That's
then
a great idea.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and then we'll just see how Zara just see how
Zara,
she
could
copes.
you
Yeah,
help
how do I
us?
fit into that? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Joe and I will have a discussion
could you do
about
the
that.
idea? Yeah.
But celebrities, so people are mediators. So authors, you have William Shakespeare, Edgar Allan Poe, and J.R.R. Tolkien. Artists, Vincent van Gogh and Andy Warhol. And actors, you had Tom Hiddleston, Emily Blunt, Johnny Depp, Hugh Laurie, Gary Oldman, Tim Burton, Nicolas Cage, and Andrew Garfield. So I'm basically Spider-Man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we got Spider-Man, the Joker, and Lex Luthor.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're doing
Mashup.
well.
Yeah. Ooh, one of the ENTPs from history, military, was Alexander the Great.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm going to take over everything.
I think I had a few presidents. I think I had Richard Nixon, which I was like, oh, I won't share that. He wasn't great.
he implemented a few policies.
He wasn't my favorite.
Was there anybody that you were compared to that you didn't like, apart from Richard Nixon?
Yes.
Or Lex
Yeah.
Luthor?
I mean, sort of along the same lines as Richard Nixon, for me, ENTP was Tucker Carlson. Have you heard of that guy?
No.
Mm-mm.
He's a US political commentator. He like works for Fox News.
Oh.
And yeah,
Fox News.
that's all I need to say about that is he's just a wishy-washy little piece of work, shall we say. But at the same time, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we've got Jon Stewart, who's a US comedian, and he's on the opposite side of the political spectrum. So
I got Gordon Ramsay was one of mine, which I wasn't too happy about.
I do not like Gordon Ramsay. I do not like
I
him.
don't like him either. He's so funny though.
He's so mean. He normalized meanness in the media, like being really dicky to normal people who just burnt a fucking steak or something,
But it makes for
So
prime
horrible.
television, doesn't it? It's entertaining, and that's what people want.
Yeah. It's raw.
It's so raw.
Brilliant.
It's fucking raw. Stop, Gordon.
I heard, is he not on TikTok at the
good.
moment? He's big on TikTok at the minute because he is basically criticizing other famous chefs or something.
Yeah,
Not
that's
sure what-
Twitter. I think well,
Twitter?
it might be TikTok now, but yeah, on Twitter there was this whole like at Gordon, like people would send him pictures and he would just like burn them real bad.
Did anybody feel that that this test was accurate? Like, how accurate
It's
did you
all
guys think that it was?
pseudoscience,
Mhm.
It is all pseudoscience. I mean, Myers-Briggs was based on the Jungian psychoanalytical school of thought, where it's your shadow and, it's all these subconscious things that start to make up a person. I think it can give you an indication if you see some truth in it as to like what way your personality leans, but your personality differs day to day, really. I mean, we wrote our little bios earlier on, and for one of mine, it was favorite movie, depends on my mood. That is true. I mean, it just
Depends how
you're not
horny you are.
constant. Yeah, depends how horny you are. Either my favorite movie is Titanic, or my other favorite movie is, well, I can't even mention the name of the movie on here. But we're fluid. We are fluid creatures. That's
We are
nothing to do
I
with
would
porn.
love to know what that other movie is.
Posted
It's
in the group chat.
what was Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac or something
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
with Willem
Last
Dafoe.
week's episode was
It's artistic, right, Joe? It's artistic.
It's very
Yeah.
It's just it's for the arts,
Was there any questions that stood out for you guys?
Clearly not.
Well, yeah, one of them. It's not that it's like a real standard question or anything like that, but it was something along the lines of, do you? And I think this is what like started to tip mine over into extroverted because, as you say, Ran, I'm kind of like an introverted person, and as in if I'm around new people, I'm like, ugh, stay away from me. But there's a switch in my brain, and I think it's acting that has actually done that, where you can just sort of switch it on.
Mhm.
But like, hey, I can talk to people, or I'm in performance mode, or I need to give a talk or whatever. And it was like, would you like to be the center of attention in a room. And, part of me does. Part of me really does. And I sort of put myself in
It's
those
like that
situations,
duality.
like, at parties and stuff that I've been
It
to. And
depends
I
on the
always
room.
love. Yeah. It depends on the room. I mean, if you're in this center of attention in a room full of KKK people, well, then no, but.
What are you doing at these meetings, Joe, in the first place?
I'm protesting them, of course. Jeez. But that just depends. But like at parties and stuff, yeah, I like to be the center of attention. So.
It's interesting you have that duality where you're like slightly shy, but then in certain situations you kind of want to be.
Yeah,
that you want the focus to be on you. It's really interesting. I like that.
If you're in my head, you would see how turbulent it really is. Like the need for approval, but also the need to be left alone is real.
Well, it's funny that you say, Joe, that you can kind of flip the switch when you're giving talks or performing, because I was always very, very, very introverted in school. And then for one of my A levels, I ended up doing theatre studies. And because I just love film and media, and I always, to some degree, always loved acting, or the idea of it anyway. And I did a little bit of theatrical acting, and that totally allowed people to see me in a totally different light, because you're playing different characters.
Yeah.
So how they think they know me, or how people kind of just perceive you when you're on stage performing, playing as a different actor or a character, obviously, then they're seeing a completely different person, but realized through you. And the amount of compliments I was getting, not really sure whether it was more engaged in my acting ability, but just on my complete 180 change in personality. And the more I did that, and the more, as I say, by the time I got to my second year, my A level year, I was just nearly a completely different person. I was able to talk to more people and socialize, and even teachers were stopping me saying, like, your personality has just came through in the last 2 years out of nowhere. And I always have theater to thank for that. Yeah. But I would still very much be very introverted. Like if I'm in a room of 20, 30 people I don't know, it's kind of hard to strike up a conversation. I'll do my best, but I struggle to engage in conversations if you're talking about, I don't know, motorbikes. I don't give a shit about motorbikes, and I would rather say nothing for fear of sounding stupid.
Yeah.
I'd rather say nothing at all than say something and sound like an idiot.
That's totally true. Yeah, I mean, I really, really, really dislike small talk.
To keep an image of looking smart.
Yeah, you do, yeah. I can't talk about a topic I don't know anything about.
You do it really well, Ryan.
Just sit and judge. Yeah. You know such and such? Yes. The worst is when someone goes, oh, do you know your man? They say a name, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, yes. And they're like, oh, no, sorry, I meant him. You're like, oh, yes. Yeah. Like,
the amount of times that's happened to me, it's so embarrassing. Totally I've actually had to stop myself from doing that because people are like, do you know blah, blah, blah? I'm like, yeah. Well, what do you think of it? Well, he has some interesting things to say about motorsports. Yeah, he's done talking about motorsports.
But it's not my place to speak for him.
Well, I want to hear what you think about it.
That's a similar thing happened to me. I feel like in school, I was like in primary school, I was really shy. And then in secondary school, when I did drama, like kind of the same as you, Ryan, like I really found that it was really pushing me out of my comfort zone, and I had to like pretend to be these people, and I had to do all this stuff that felt really like weird and embarrassing. And then I kind of found through that just like to embrace the strangeness that I had, because somebody said, like, I was like, I don't really feel like I fit in, and I don't really feel like I'm the same as all these other people. And then someone was like, but that's a good thing. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then from there on, it was just kind of like, if I was doing something really strange or people were uncomfortable, it made me like really happy. I was like, this is great. So then it kind of like this thing you were saying about being in a room full of lots of people, Ryan, and not really, I would now just like thrive in that environment, because I would just talk shit to everybody and not really care. Well, not that I wouldn't care what they thought of me, but I wouldn't care if it was negative. Like I just would be like, well, that's just my personality, and that's
a good way
I'm
to
cool
be.
with that now.
I wish I was more like that.
So I feel like sometimes it's a struggle, but most of the time I'm like,
which goes right in line with your commander personality type.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Which was
I walk into the same room and then I just be like, sit on the fence, strike up conversations, or don't strike up a conversation, join in the fun or don't join the fun. I don't really care. And Joe would just be starting fights left, right, and center and just arguing.
Yeah. Zara like commands me to do something. I'm like, yeah, but let's debate why you're asking me to do that, okay?
Yeah. Then Joe tells me to do something. I'm like, yeah, Joe, you're right. And then Zara's like, we should do this. I'm like, yeah, Zara, you have a point too.
You're like, I can't decide.
I'm just all about inclusivity. That's it.
Exactly. Fairness. Balance.
Totally fairness.
Guys, do you want to know what characters you are from Metal Gear
Yes.
Solid.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, are we all ready?
Oh, so there's Metal Gear Solid media. Like, you have the
So they've
personality
all
house.
been sorted into different categories, but I mean, how is this done? Is this a stupid question? Like, do people imagine they are these people and then take the test, or do they just go
I don't
by?
know. That's a
You know
tough
what I
one.
mean?
Well,
Anyway,
I am very. Is this just Metal Gear Solid 1, or is it the whole franchise of
oh,
characters?
this is the whole franchise.
Okay, right.
Okay,
Well, then I
okay.
have
So
a
we
very good
each,
grasp on Metal Gear Solid, so we'll see.
this is interesting. Okay, so I'll start with me. Apparently, I am Liquid,
Oh,
who is
Well, he was
would you say the main villain in the first one?
in the first one, yeah, like kind of the top
Yeah.
dog, the leader essentially. Like, I mean, there's loads of kind of big characters in that there, and
Yeah.
from the first one, you obviously got like you got Ocelot, which kind of becomes the big character overall in the entire franchise, essentially.
Mhm.
But Liquid is in the first one anyway. Yeah, Liquid's a good one. He's in charge.
He's funny. He's got great hair. That's the only probably positive thing I can take from that.
Who? Liquid?
Liquid.
No,
Yeah, he's got
Liquid's
like the
blonde hair.
long hair. Blonde hair.
Blonde?
Yeah, long blonde hair.
You said grey.
Hasn't he?
You said grey.
No, I said he's got great hair.
Oh,
I said great.
Ah,
Sorry.
okay.
My diction is terrible.
Speak English.
Speak
Tommy
English.
Maguire.
Tommy Maguire.
Homie Tommy.
We told me. Okay, so Ryan, you are Otacon,
Oh.
Oh, that
apparently. INFP.
Otacon, that's disappointing. I didn't even get one of the cool
Is it?
characters. Otacon.
He's cool.
Well, whatever. I'm
He's like
disappointed.
the brains.
You see, I'm not going to have an idea who my character is.
Oh, this will be interesting. Okay, so Joe is Ocelot, but okay, he's one letter out because Joe is ENTP, but Ocelot is INTP. There wasn't anyone that was ENTP.
I'm
So
just too
Ocelot
unique.
is like an introverted version of Joe, apparently.
Okay.
And Ocelot is
Well,
one of the
I'm
biggest
51%
snakes in the grass in the
extroverted,
entire
so-
franchise.
Yeah, he's the one you got to watch out
Joe's
for.
the one we have to watch out for.
Oh,
So do you want to know what Harry Potter characters you are?
do it.
Yeah, go for it.
So you're the commanders are. So you're ENTJ,
Mhm.
and that is.
Well, that's Voldemort, isn't it?
Oh well, it's Voldemort, but this is like a different wee page here.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Voldemort is on this one. No, this is like the good characters, I think. So you are James Potter.
Oh, I'm a bully.
Yeah.
Boring.
He bullied Snape. I
Nobody
don't like
cares
him.
about James Potter.
Ryan, the mediator, you're INFP. And that is Remus Lupin.
Oh,
Who?
he's a great character.
You know Lupin, Harry's teacher.
The one that turns into a werewolf.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
James's
that's
best
not bad.
friend.
Yeah, and will you hear this? Okay, so
new BFFs. Sorry, Joe.
New BFFs. Bye, Joe.
I'm
Bye.
everyone's
Hold on,
BFF because
hold
I just
on.
try to appease everyone.
Get you back.
Here's mine's
Get you back.
ENTP, and I am Sirius Black. So
Stop
we're all
it.
best friends. We're the
We are.
The
Marauders.
Marauders.
Yeah, brilliant. Wow.
Oh my goodness, that's so
That is
cool.
perfect. Yeah, we should rename this
We have to
podcast
change our podcast name
the
now.
8-Bit Marauders.
Marauders
8-Bit
popcorn.
Marauders.
If anybody does any fan art, if they could do us in like a Marauders Harry Potter style, that'd be brilliant.
Oh, please. that would be
And if
so
you want to do some not safe for work fan art, that's fine too.
Yeah, we don't mind. Clothes
I
on
can
or
send
off.
nudes for reference.
Hentai, yeah.
But I won't because that's wrong and unprofessional.
He says with a blank look on his face.
Yeah. So we're all BFFs.
That's so cool.
I knew it deep
Aw.
down. I knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole
Deep down.
podcast went to extreme lengths to throw Zara a birthday party. And at
Mhm.
this point, there's
I
no
mean-
money in the account. So if you think about it,
Exactly. Come on. Only best friends. do that.
Zara has her birthday has put the podcast in a deficit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're in minus. Minus
Minus now. Ooh.
because of my 30th birthday.
Yeah. Don't worry, on your 30th birthday, I'll do something really big. Like,
God,
Your
yeah, the
40th.
30th has to be
Mhm.
massive then if that was like the fake 30th.
Yeah.
yeah. See this picture here. You work at KFC, no?
No.
No, you just happen to be
We
wearing
just had
red and
shares, clearly. I don't know what that was. I think we just went after school or something, and we were like having a KFC, and I don't know.
You wanted to
I don't even remember why. I think I
show the
just really
Colonel
liked
some
my
love.
outfit that day, and I was like, let's get a picture of my hat and my
You look like
ponytail.
you could be his daughter.
I look
Have you got the
very
secret
similar.
recipe?
If I had glasses on, that would be dangerous.
Yeah. We should just Photoshop some
Also, I
glasses
think
on.
the beards really complement each other.
Beards.
I've been growing mine out for a little while there.
Yeah, cool.
It looks good. So, shall we talk a little bit about the Mandalorian?
So we may as
after
well
a
cram
break?
in
Yeah.
the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Mando season 2 finale, epic.
Guys, can I read this to you? I literally just checked my phone. No, my friend Connor from uni. I think he maybe studied like photo and media. But he basically just messaged me as we came on air. And he said, "Hi Zara, long time. Hope things are good. Just wanted to say I added your podcast to my playlist earlier today. I work 12-hour shifts with my earphones in the whole time, so podcasts get me through the long hours. And now I have one more. Keep at it. It's really good." And then like the ticker tape emoji, like the little like celebration. Oh, I just thought that was really cute.
So he
It just
didn't
literally
mention
just
me
came
by
in.
name. What?
And my amazing graphic skills.
What?
What an asshole.
I'm actually
You'll
really,
be listening to
really
this
offended right
episode,
now.
actually. If you're
Yeah,
listening,
so-
send us money.
Give me, send us money. Give us shout outs.
Pull us out of the deficit that
Send us
Zara's
free
put us
stuff.
in. Mhm.
Please, yeah, we're now in a deficit because of my 30th. So please send us
Selfish
merch and
bitch.
free things to
In
promote.
place of
We'll
money,
promote
I
your
will
business.
accept feet pics.
No, we won't do that. We won't do that. Just give us your money.
We'll send feet pics. No, I'm just kidding.
Zara will send pics from her phone, yeah.
I'll send pictures from my folders on my phone.
Yeah. Great.
Can I just say before we move on to the Mandalorian season 2, I fell into, and we all fell into the big trap of idolizing Harry Potter. Apparently, like Gen Zers, the generation below us, really bully millennials for liking Harry Potter. We think it's like a personality trait, which a lot of times we do. We're like, "Are you Slytherin or Gryffindor?" Just because we grew up with the movies. So Gen Zers, I'm really sorry if you can't relate. I'm only a stupid millennial. We've messed up the world since we were born. And I'm sorry, we didn't know as a generation how J.K. Rowling would turn out and should be a big turf and start denying trans people rights. So I apologize for comparing us to the Marauders. Please don't cancel me.
I actually have a very embarrassing story that came about because of my mediating personality.
Okay.
So I think it was not Halloween past, but it was Halloween 2019. And I was out with a group of friends and they were going to the Transport Museum up in Noma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I told you this before.
Love that museum.
And they told me that every year they go dressed up.
Oh,
And
I
they
think
go
I remember
dressed
you
up.
telling me that story. Yeah.
Totally dressed, and they said that everybody does it as well. And I was like, right, okay, if everybody else is going to do it, I will also do it. I didn't have an outfit, so he says, well, you can dress up as Harry Potter. He's got the wand, he's got the glasses, he's got the cloak. And they could put a mark on my head, and I was like, right, that's fair enough. If everyone's doing it, I'm not going to be a party pooper. Showed up, landed in the car park, hundreds of people walking in the entrance. Not one of them wearing an outfit, a Halloween outfit. Not one, not a single person. And I was like, oh my God. And I had Ian dressed as Cruella de Vil, and Bobby was dressed as Maleficent, and there was another one there. I can't remember who she was dressed as, and I was dressed as Harry Potter. And I was like, holy fuck, I want to go home so bad. And I remember walking in the door and there was these kids and they were probably about, I don't know, the ones that were like 10, 20, 15, and they were walking past and they just kept sniggering and just saying like, oh, you're a wizard, Harry, you're a wizard. And I was like, fuck you.
Getting bullied by kids.
Yeah.
Aw.
Should have
And then
thrown
at
your
one point there was
popcorn and
a-
drink over them.
Yeah. At one
should've.
point there was a hoedown in a barn and I had to dance and skip up the barn with like a 15-year-old girl and I could just tell she was mortified. And she just looked at me and her face was bright red and I just said, trust me, I'm far more embarrassed than you are. So that was because of my mediating attitude and inability to say no in case I upset somebody. So something
You
I
should
have
have
been
just
working
embraced it, right?
I know. I would have
Should have just
embraced
embraced it.
I mean,
on.
I am horribly afraid of social embarrassment, but whenever I'm like in the situation, I don't feel embarrassed at all. It's kind of weird. Like I have the fear of embarrassment, but it's actually kind of difficult.
I don't mind if
me.
everyone's acting like an idiot or in certain circumstances, but this particular, it was too much. It was way too much.
Yeah,
I couldn't handle it.
I went to QCon, in Queens, the comics convention in Queens, and I was dressed up as Sasuke from Naruto, if any anime fans are out there. And like, it's this ridiculous outfit, you've got a wig and everything. And I was standing in the middle of Subway, like waiting to order my sandwich, dressed in like this ninja outfit and like getting looks from everybody. But then, like people started coming over, taking pictures, and I was like, "Hey, beach, what's up?" I mean, there obviously were weird looks, especially you get the odd smick walking past, being like, "What the fuck, mate? What is you?" And it's like, "Yes."
What is you?
No. That's a Noel Fielding bit. Like, does anybody like Noel Fielding?
Yeah, I do.
I love that dude. If you watch some of his stand up, he's actually really, really funny.
He does
It's
the stuff
bizarre,
with the gots and chavs, doesn't he?
yeah. Like, what is you? I says yes. They says no. Oh. I love Noel Fielding. Yeah, I the way I have a penchant for like doing voices. I'm not even saying like I do great impressions, but one of them is from from The Mighty Boosh. Tony Harrison, the pink head guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Just whenever I'm out, but it's like, this is an outrage. I've got not one, not two, but 3 crates of poppers. We're having it large.
Oh my god, that's made my night.
Oh, that's so good.
I love Mighty Boosh.
We just need to do a show on impressions by Joe.
That's so funny. That's amazing. That's actually so good, Joe.
So today,
and he's on the magic carpet.
Yeah. Take my tiny hexagonal penis. Sorry, we keep talking about penises and boobs when we're meant to be talking about the Mandalorian
you
season.
You keep talking about penises and boobs, Joe. Last week it was me.
Last week it was Ryan.
Baby Yoda.
Next week, Zara.
Next week it's my turn. Oh dear.
Yes. So Mandalorian season 2. Have you seen? We've all seen it, have we, Zara?
I haven't seen it, but I know about it. I have looked up
spoilers. It for yourself. How could you do that?
Because I don't think I'll watch it because I don't have Disney Plus.
I spoiled myself as well, to be fair, and that's the reason I watched it. Yeah.
Are there? Please send me them.
Yes, I will say it.
If anyone's
it's called
listening,
Levidia. Levia. Go straight there.
I'm writing
it is
this
amazing.
down.
A completely legal site.
It's perfectly legal, from what I've been told. I've never been on it. I'm just pushing out a rumor.
Yeah.
I also need a site to watch Discovery season 3. If anyone knows of any,
try Levidia again. You can watch everything on that.
Oh, okay, Levidia. Okay, I'm excited. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now that we've got the illegal bit out of the way.
It's not legal. Nobody's saying the word illegal here apart from you.
Yeah.
Yes, Mandalorian.
Anyway,
season 2 finale. Anybody have any thoughts on how they feel like it compared to the first season?
To be fair, I actually didn't watch the first season.
Why?
I just watched a recap. Because I had like no interest in the first season.
With The Mandalorian, you probably could have, because as much as I love it,
pretty episodic.
Yes, but there's my biggest gripe with Mandalorian is there's very little plot development and character development in each episode.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of just push the development of the story along maybe 10%, and the rest of it is just action, which again is fine, but I think it's just because I'm loving the franchise and the stories and the characters so much. I just want to see as much story as possible. So it's maybe kind of my own problem.
One thing that really stood out to me, now I've seen clips of season 1, but the budget for season 2 was crazy. It looked really good. It looked really, I was like, this is a TV show? What?
And I know that Luke Skywalker made an appearance in
spoilers, people.
Spoilers. Yeah. Mark Hamill tweeted and he was like, seen anything good on TV recently? Right after it aired.
Yeah, I mean that scene was cathartic.
It was an entire, I don't know, 5 minutes. Well, maybe not as long as 5 minutes, but when you see the X-Wing coming across the bridge and landing, and then a Jedi comes out, it was one of those is it or isn't it moments. Like you know what you want in your heart, and you want it to believe that it's Luke Skywalker. But I wouldn't have been surprised if they said, "Oh, it's Ahsoka," or some other Jedi randomly they've just kind of brought into it. And even right up to the moment where they had the green lightsaber, I still thought I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't him, and they were just trying to constantly subvert your expectations the entire time. But it was obviously Luke, and I was very, very happy to see it. The CGI was questionable on his face. Like a lot of people were saying that, which is why they kind of kept the camera on a wide, quite far back.
And kept like filming behind his head and stuff.
Yeah. But it was Mark Hamill. So the face rendering was based off Luke's imagery in The Return of the Jedi. So they kind of used that likeness of him there. And then I think it was actually Mark Hamill that delivered the lines, and they used some de-aging technology on his voice or whatever to actually make it sound more like he did back in his heyday.
I think he can do like a smooth voice. I think it's just that whatever way he's used his voice over the years is just really like fried his vocal cords, so he's constantly like that. But he did do the voiceover for The Force Awakens, you know, that brilliant movie.
The best
for
of
the trailer. I would actually have a different order than that, but
they're all shit,
he did.
But I like the first one.
They're all pretty shit. Like, I mean, they really don't get above a 2 in terms of ratings for me.
Wow.
But he did the voiceover for, you know, the Force is strong in my family. I have it, blah, blah, blah. And so he can actually thin out his voice and smooth it out a bit.
Okay, very good.
Because he is a voice actor. He's a really good voice actor. So.
Well, it is proof that Star Wars can be done right if it's in the right hands, contrary to what Kathleen Kennedy thinks, because she's very quick to shoehorn out old heroes and characters, especially Luke for some reason. But he's still very much a powerful figurehead in the franchise for new and old fans, especially for old fans. Like, that was just a fantastic fan service. And just seeing the moment you see him kind of coming through the door, down the corridor, you've got that steam. I was just waiting, like the scene in Rogue One with Darth Vader's lightsaber just coming out of the fog and the steam. I was waiting for that, and they did that. And I kind of thought that was a really lovely kind of reference to maybe his father, and then just kind of seeing him just attack all these kind of dark troopers with ease just down this corridor. It was just an absolute beautiful moment. I want to see more. Yeah.
Was really like Anakin in the prequels. Like, he does be like a backhand block of a blaster bolt with a saber, and you're like, "Oh, Revenge of the Sith."
Love that reference.
I never thought about that. That's actually very good.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I went on like a Star Wars binge after that. Like, I watched The Mandalorian season 2
last night,
and then I watched all 3 prequels, and then I watched the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars. And I was
amazing.
Like, my love for Star Wars is slightly reignited after like 5 years of it being utterly dismantled.
Well, there were 8 episodes, and on average on IMDb, I think they're averaging a rating of about 8.89.
Yeah.
The weakest actually being, and I knew the weakest episode was The Passenger before I even checked the ratings. For me, that was an episode.
The spider one?
It was the spider one. Yeah. And that's what it highlights for me, the problems. It was a perfect actually representation of the problems I have with the whole franchise, or The Mandalorian, is that they don't seem to develop the story enough in each episode. So that was an episode, and I've said this to a lot of friends, they could have just skipped it entirely and jumped from that episode straight to the next one, and they landed on the planet they were taking the little kind of lizard woman to. Do you know, like, they could have skipped. I know some people were saying that it was used to kind of give a nod to the 2 X-Wings that come in. So it's that, I think that was meant to be a nod to them and that kind of spin-off series, but I feel like they could have done that in a different episode. But that was an episode that was just, there was nothing happening in it from start to finish.
One thing I did enjoy about that episode was Grogu, which is, you know, Baby Yoda. That's his name, eating the eggs. Because I thought
there was a lot of controversy of that. A lot of people were actually very angry.
That he's called
the
Grogu,
footage of
or?
him, no, the footage, well, both, but the footage of him eating the eggs, because they were saying that
really
because he's adorable, it nearly gave him a pass on eating eggs, eating these little baby lizards.
Babies.
Yeah, and people thought that it wasn't fair that he was getting a pass just because he was a baby.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, I thought they were going to do like a really sickly sweet thing of him protecting the eggs because he senses life in them and he's a baby, and you're like, oh, but he eats her baby. Like, what are you doing, Grogu?
At some point, I was waiting. Well, yeah, but at some point, I was waiting for the lizard woman to go off on a complete fit
Yeah.
because why wouldn't
I
you?
mean, she should know how many eggs she has,
That's
so
bad parenting. Bad parenting.
yeah.
It was funny though. But yes,
Was
the name
was it
Grogu.
directed consistently, or was it different directors
No,
for
there's
each
different
episode?
directors.
Different
You've got like
directors,
Taika
yeah.
Waititi, you've got Dave Filoni, you've got
And Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, so you got
Nice.
there's a few different directors.
That's really
Jon
cool.
Favreau, I think, directed his first episode.
Carl Weathers also directed an episode in this.
Yeah. I think Jon Favreau, did he direct the very first episode of season 2? I think it was his directing debut.
Carl
He's like
Weathers?
written and no,
I'm not
Jon
actually sure.
Favreau.
Oh, sorry. I'm not actually sure. I thought he did.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure. I haven't checked that. It's different every week, but I quite like
Well,
watching
then
the
you had
episode
Robert
and trying to guess.
Rodriguez as well.
Yeah, I quite like trying to guess actually who directed the episode based on the
That's
content of the
cool.
action you see, because they each have their little kind of signatures.
Yeah.
But
Dave Filoni directed Ahsoka, which yay.
yeah, a lot of people were actually very unhappy with the name Grogu. I was very unhappy with the name Grogu. I didn't like it. Everyone's going to call him Baby Yoda, even on set of Mandalorian.
Why were they unhappy?
Jon Favreau says that they just basically refer to him as Baby Yoda. It's just the nickname on set that's going to stick, and that's fair enough. But it's based on from the site called from a website called The Conversion. I got this article that reads: names have always played an important role in the Star Wars universe. Names like Chewbacca, Bib Fortuna, and Wedge Antilles, is that right? Are all otherworldly, and yet somehow they sound perfectly plausible. Star Wars names are also often perfect matches for the character. It's hard to imagine someone named Jabba the Hutt as a slim athlete, or a person named Darth Vader giving gifts to kids on Christmas Eve. So the phenomenon of sound symbolism refers to finding that people will indeed associate certain characteristics to certain sounds. But it goes beyond shape. People will also associate different sizes, colors, and even personalities to different words based on their sound. And importantly, people also do that with names. So Grogu's most prominent features are his round head and his eyes and his ears. So you kind of have to ask yourself, does the name fit his shape? And a lot of people actually said yes, it does. In general, people will associate voice stops. People will associate voiced stops pronounced with vibrating vocal cords like G with round things. Even stronger is the association between rounded vowels like O and U and round things. One explanation for this has to do with the rounded shape of the lips while pronouncing these vowels. So Grogu, O and U, rounded kind of words or rounded letters. Sorry. So they kind of, I think that kind of helped then identify a name for the character. That's not to say they still could have come up with something maybe a bit better, but at least it tries to justify something.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard
really
that study before. Yeah, it's pan linguistic or language as well. Yeah,
yeah. They say if you think about the name Boba Fett, and then I think I seen the picture there. If you think of the name Kiki Fett, you think of two different shapes. So Boba Fett nearly kind of sounds a bit more smooth and more rounded, whereas Kiki Fett nearly sounded a bit more sharp and pointy. Although it was shown with images to reference that, but it was very interesting. I wondered where they kind of got their names or what inspired the names of Star Wars characters. And it makes me wonder what people think of whenever they hear 8-bit popcorn, just because it's kind of like pop, 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 which is also synonymous really with popcorn. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. Really cool.
And according to information provided by Rating Graph, the second season is one of 27 seasons from 16 shows to receive at least 50,000 IMDb user ratings and an average user rating of at least 9. Not only does the Skywalker assisted season finale boast 100% positive ratings from critics, but it also seemed to meet with near universal acclaim from the fans who went to war with each other over The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. The Rescue episode is currently one of only 10 TV episodes in IMDb databases with a minimum of 20,000 user ratings and an average rating of at least 9.9, along with 4 episodes of Game of Thrones, 3 episodes of Breaking Bad, and a series finale of Chernobyl, and a season 3 episode of Attack on Titan. So a lot of people really seem to love the episode in general. It was a fantastic episode. And then the Luke Skywalker moment really just kind of pushed it over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, you see people reacting to it online. They're literally crying. And Disney done Luke dirty in the sequel trilogy, and you can see how people react whenever a hero from their childhood actually acts heroic on screen rather than acting like this dejected ass face for like a whole movie and not getting his moment to shine and like dying on a rock and disappearing. And I mean, I remember that moment being like, no, but yeah, this was good. This was good. It doesn't make up for everything that they've done, but they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, they've redeemed themselves.
People are always going to argue that they need to kind of create new characters, which is what they tried to do with episodes 7, 8, and 9 with Rey and with Finn and, you know, the myriad of other characters they come up with.
To do that, you need to write them.
Yes, true. But the argument from Kathleen Kennedy was that you need something new for newer fans. My argument has always been, to old fans like ourselves, we're going to see Luke Skywalker and fall in love with it. To new fans who aren't interested or aren't really aware of the Star Wars franchise, Luke Skywalker is still a character that's still pretty new to them because they're not familiar with the franchise. So I'm always for keeping old characters. That's not to say you can't have new characters, but certainly old characters, I think, are winners.
Yeah, and people are always going to return to nostalgia. I feel like that's always going to appeal to so many people. If it was part of their childhood or their teenage years, they're going to really connect with it. As you say, Joe, like seeing Luke Skywalker be heroic, and we're all going to respond to that because we love Star Wars and the character.
Just further to your point, Ryan, just as in terms of, you know, new characters and stuff like that. Yeah, it's sort of a similar argument that I've had about, you know, people saying, oh, well, you need new people. And you're like, well, create a new series then, because this is episode 7, 8, and 9 in a continuous story. So why are you trying to like kick the old characters out? You can use it to introduce new characters, but don't use it to dismantle and destroy the older ones in favor of the new ones. So, but what were you going to say?
Well, what did you think about the fight between Mando and Goff with the dark saber?
Oh, Moff Gideon.
Sorry, Goff. I was thinking of the Goff conversation earlier. Moff Gideon.
Yeah. It was good. It was fine. The choreography in the show is pretty decent.
It was pretty good. Yeah, the action is very interesting. Like even whenever you had the Mandalorian, you thought he was going to get away from the Dark Troopers when he blew them out into the vacuum of space, and then to see them come back, and then he goes toe to toe with one of them, and they end up nearly smashing his skull into the side of the ship just by repeated punching. I thought like you were just at the edge of your seat because you want like he just survived one. How would he have survived against 20? Do you know?
And Luke just cuts them up like butter.
Yeah.
Just like butter.
That's good. I mean, the fights that I found more interesting in the series were definitely Ahsoka's one in her episode. You know, because I was wondering how they were going to translate that physicality from animation to live action. And I think they did a pretty good job for a TV show. Rosario Dawson did a fine job. And I was like, that's Ahsoka. I'm excited for her series.
Oh, I'd be very excited for her series.
She's my fave character, especially after rewatching the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars. That was some epic Star Wars.
I'm curious about, well, a lot of people are very curious about Bo-Katan, who needs the dark saber to not to be heir, but to kind of just
to be the rightful ruler of Mandalore.
Yeah, Mandalore. And in order to get the dark saber, she has to win it in combat. So you can't just be handed it. So obviously, the Mandalorian beat Moff Gideon, and then he acquired the dark saber. So now there's this kind of dynamic then between Bo-Katan, who needs that dark saber in order to rule Mandalore.
Yeah,
but I don't really think it's a case
of kill him.
Well, that's exactly it. People are thinking that, there's going to be a big fight, there's going to be a big moment here, there's a lot of tension. Even though the Mandalorian just tried to hand it to her, it's like, you know what? You just fight her, make it convincing, and then just lose, and then she'll win, and then
or have a fair fight and accept your rightful place as the ruler of Mandalore.
Yes, but then I don't think she would give up. So I think he would end up having to kill her to get her to stop, depending how her strong her resolve is, or how strong her need is to have this dark saber.
Yeah, we'll see. Well. Yeah, well, seeing as you haven't seen, Mandalorian season 2, Zara, it's it's hard to talk about.
It is.
But I saw in your bio, Zara, it's something that I found quite interesting. It's a very unpopular opinion, and I was wondering whether it was true, whether Attack of the Clones is your favorite Star Wars movie.
It is
I was
true.
surprised when I read that. I thought, seriously? Like, that's the worst one.
I disagree. I mean, Attack of the Clones is not at my bottom in terms of my list of Star Wars. It's not. Definitely not.
It's most
Zara's probably just thought, you know what? Everybody likes every other movie, so I'm just gonna intentionally be unconventional.
I have to go against social pressure. There we go. No, I just I have such fond memories of like seeing it when I was younger and seeing it in the cinema and wanting to be Padme, and I just loved it, and it was so badly acted, but at the time I didn't I didn't see that as, you know, it was just I don't know, because I wasn't very judgy or whatever. I just kind of was like, oh, that must be the way all films are. Everyone must talk like this and be really like, yeah.
It was all very Shakespearean, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
rewatching
that George Lucas liked to direct.
But rewatching it there, I really don't find. I mean, yes, some of the lines are egregious to say the least, but I don't think the acting, is consistently that bad. There's some of it is actually quite good. You see Anakin's bit after he's killed the Sand People and whatnot, and he's having a wee tantrum.
The Tusken Raiders. Is that who you mean?
Yeah. The Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, the Tusken Raiders, actually, on Tatooine. I think his acting there is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's quite good. But no, yeah, but
I think he's a better actor than people give him credit for.
Yeah, it's Natalie Portman's acting in that scene that's quite ropey because, he's just like, I killed them all, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, Anakin, have a bit of a reaction. You just murdered a tribe of people and just, Anakin, to err is to be human.
Yeah, it was pretty strange. No, I just, I also had like a massive crush on Hayden. So I completely forgave him for any kind of wrongdoings.
He was a bad boy.
Or dialogue or acting wise. But yeah, no, it's such a nostalgic, and now I can look back on it and really cringe and really see how people obviously react to it and why. But no, it'll forever be my fave.
I unironically like them. I mean, I actually really liked Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
it's part of our childhood, so it's back to the whole nostalgia thing where we are nostalgic for our youth, so we're gonna have it. Like, I mean, people watching that today for the first time are probably gonna watch that and think this is a shit movie.
Yeah,
has better choreography than the sequels anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah, all those lightsaber fights were epic. Love it.
People call Phantom Menace like a really boring movie, but it's not. Have you seen the pod race? That is like 10 minutes.
That was the first time actually really changed lightsaber duels for me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that was just epic. Dual wielding Darth Maul. So cool. He comes out and you think, wow. I still remember going to the cinema to see it.
Like, each one of those movies had a banging ass soundtrack as well. I mean, in Phantom Menace, you had Duel of the Fates. In Attack of the Clones, you had Across the Stars, Anakin and Padme's love theme. And then in the last one, you had Battle of the Heroes. And you're like, all three are tunes.
We should do a wee retrospective watch. Some evening we'll sit and watch through
my favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh,
so mine's a prequel.
I don't know if I have a favorite. There's so much I love about different movies. Do you know, whether it's the fast-paced action of the lightsaber duels in, say, episode 1, whether it's the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan in 3, whether it is the fight between Vader and Luke. I don't know. I do struggle to pick one in particular. That being said,
love the story of the prequels.
Yeah. That being said, just to kind of bring it back to the Baby Yoda, there's theories. I mean, there's theories floating around about what, because Yoda has went with Luke, what that means for Baby Yoda's future. Yeah. Or lack of. Because obviously,
be killed by Kylo.
Yeah, obviously, but because by episode, it's the Last Jedi where they reveal that obviously Kylo Ren, or they at least show it as he destroyed the Academy, Luke's Academy. Is it episode 7? Is it 8? Which one is
6? Is it 7?
8.
Is it 8?
8 is
the Last Jedi. Anyway, people, you could argue that if Grogu went to train with look. That obviously he would be there, be 20 years older. He'd still be a baby, basically, I'm sure. But he would either have perished with a lot of the other trainees or Padawans, or he would have joined Ryan. Both, which I don't see happening. But there's a lot of discussion around these points.
Yeah, I've also heard a lot of talk that because they introduced it in Rebels, this kind of alternate dimension theme. Don't know if you know anything about that. It's kind of like other worlds that like Sidious can kind of see into. It's like force mirrors and there's timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff going on. And they're saying that there is talk and there's a sort of a push among some of the fandom, at least, to just get the sequels out of canon. They don't exist. Yeah, and I would sincerely like that. I would sign a petition for that.
Yeah, I mean they're still there. We've still watched them. Does it really
but
make
it
a
could just
difference?
be an alternate universe, alternate timeline. That's fine.
I like that.
The finale there, they had introduced in the post-credit scene the Book of Boba Fett, which is due to come out next Christmas, and they're saying that then the Mandalorian season 3 is to be shot after the Book of Boba Fett, so it's not to run along. It's not going to be running alongside of the Book of Boba Fett. It's going to run after it. So that's interesting. So they kind of seems like they're taking a little break with Mandalorian to focus on the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, they're probably trying to see where to go with the story. I mean, I'm interested to see what they actually do, because although Grogu doesn't talk or anything,
They give me like a little kind of teenage Groot, out of
That's who I thought of when I heard his name was Grogu. I thought of Groot, and I thought of
he'll just be all pissy the way Groot was in his teenage years.
What I did find, I thought I was going to hate Grogu or Baby Yoda, but I actually ended up really liking him. I found him really funny. Like, say, whenever he actually learned his name and he kept going Grogu, and he kept Grogu. Like, that was so funny. It was so cute. I usually hate things like that, but I found it hit me in the feels.
I'd wonder, has he been maybe the most successful merchandising in that franchise in a long time?
Certainly the most meme-worthy.
Prior to him, what would you think?
R2D2. They tried BB-8. I mean, they're really pushed for BB-8.
I'd say Baby Yoda's bigger than BB-8. I mean, I love BB-8, but I would imagine Baby Yoda's bigger than that.
Yeah, I think so. He's much cuter.
And even bigger than Rey and all those kind of newer characters. So,
yeah, I mean, inverted commas for characters. Yeah. I don't really count them as characters.
Yoda, maybe. I mean, people have a lot of.
I had a Yoda when I was younger, and he talked.
Yeah, I had a Yoda.
So.
I didn't.
But probably the biggest.
Batman,
you know what to get for me for my birthday.
Yay, for Ryan's 30th.
I'd say the biggest merchandising opportunity they have for Star Wars, maybe not character-wise, but obviously just item-wise, was definitely the lightsaber.
Yeah, the lightsaber.
I had about 5 lightsabers when I was younger. It's like, I want a green one, I want a blue one, I want a red one.
I loved that I bought Darth Vader's lightsaber after meeting him in Disney.
So cool.
Yeah, epic. Well, thank you guys for tuning in this week, and we hope we gave you just enough insights into us as people that you feel we warrant your subscription and support. We're on YouTube, Buzzsprout, Facebook, and loads of other podcast platforms. Maybe drop us a like, maybe subscribe, maybe drop us your house keys. Point is, we're not forcing you to do anything you don't want to, but it might just be in your best interest. I'll say no more than that. See you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya, bye. Definitely drop your house keys.
Wow, that was awesome.
You can, or just leave your front door open. I like to watch you sleep.
Just leave the window open. Oh, God.
I'm Edward Cullen.
Yeah, that'll work. Just call yourself Santa. There's still time.
Good. There's still time. We're in that window.